I'm not gonna lie, the other conferences was throwing them shots at the SEC today, bro. SMU coach Rhett Lashley had this to say. The SEC has had the same 6 schools win the championship since 1964. Not a single one has been different since 1964. That's top heavy to me. That's not depth. Came straight for the SEC, bro. That's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. And a lot of people are not really happy with what he had to say. A lot of fans and obviously a lot of commentators basically had to say like this was a dumb quote. My stance, man. Look, all I'm going to say, I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree. I do feel him on the standpoint where people come for the ACC because it's consistent and it's constant. Now, the ACC has to do a better job in terms of, obviously, the preseason, or not the preseason, but the matchups during the season. I will agree with that and strength of schedule. And the conference got to get back to where it was. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have your top teams playing well. Right, your brands. Your brands are Clemson. Your brands are obviously Florida State. Your brands are Miami, and so on and so forth. Right, and get obviously Georgia Tech, Louisville up there, obviously to the forefront. So, in that standpoint, like I agree. Like the schedule has to be better for one. You got to play these top end matchups, like what we're gonna see this year. LSU, Clemson, right? Good matchup. Georgia Tech, Georgia rivalry has to get back to where it was. Right. South Carolina, Clemson, right? Louisville, Kentucky, Miami, Florida, right? Florida State. Obviously going up against Florida. Like, we need the rivalries back, and we need the parity. That's what you're seeing with the Big 12, the parity. So I'm not going to say whether I disagree or agree. I just thought this quote was very interesting. Now, this one here from Kirk Cignetti. He came for it. And some comments was like, Indiana not even that good. Indiana had 1 year, and they think they top dog. Like, the comments on this one was crazy. But he said, basically on canceling the non-conference series versus Virginia, we figured we adopt an SEC scheduling philosophy. Essentially, in paraphrasing, basically he was saying was SEC schedules basically FCS teams during obviously early on in the year, and they don't really play anybody until they play their slate of 8 obviously conference games. Now, that's not the same for everybody, right? Obviously, when you look at the SEC, different teams play harder schedules, right? Obviously, look at out the gate, Alabama is playing a tough team in Florida State. Now, whether y'all say, okay, they had a bad year, new quarterback, I feel y'all. That's still not an easy opponent to face on the road. Right? LSU can say the same thing. Going on the road, obviously, to Clemson to open the season, right? Texas can say the same thing. Going to the Big Shoe, obviously, in Columbus to play Ohio State, right? So, there's different things. I thought it was funny. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was funny, to say the least. Obviously, he said that there is some teams now in the SEC that schedule very weak. I will say that. And I do agree with Kirk Cignetti there. That's not all the teams, though, in the SEC. But I just found it funny. A Big Ten coach, Indiana, and obviously SMU coach, both of them really came for the SEC today. Now, mind you, both of their teams made the college football playoff last year, right? And they stood on business, and obviously they felt how they felt about the SEC. But what do you guys think? Does the SEC not have enough depth? Is it very top-heavy conference, according to this head coach here? And do you think their non-conference schedule is not hard enough and reason why these teams are getting in? Let me know. Now, I know it's not just that. I'm just giving you guys the hypothetical. I'm just giving you guys the question of what these coaches had to say and give you guys my reaction and my thoughts. But I want to hear what you guys have to say with these or with these shots being fired at the SEC by these two coaches. Let me know down in the comments. Are y'all with it or y'all not with it?